Well folks, here we are of part 5 with the 4-wheel drive Gravely tractor build. And as you can see, since last time, I got the center joint all tacked up together. And on the tractor, I still have to cut the welds on the sides of this bottom plate here, because between this one and this one they're off just a little bit like that, which is making it hard to get the bolts lined up. So once I do that, then I can finish welding this thing up because everything else fits good. So today I'm going to be working on getting the dog gears for the PTO inside of these transmissions, along with the shipper shafts in both sides and the PTO shafts and whatnot, and getting this rear transmission, getting the high-low planetaries into the back here, because you'll see what I do to get this, because I don't actually need the planetaries. We're just going to make it so that way this shaft stays on center, so you'll see how I do that. But I'm going to try to get the transmissions pretty much done so that way I can focus on getting the center joint and everything else built up on the tractor. So I went up on the hill and I found an alright set of high-low planetaries from an L. So this is just the front half that goes into the engine. It has the sun gear with the orbital gears. The orbital gears will be coming out, and I'll be putting on these pieces of 1-inch flat stock, and those will be sitting flush up against the sun gear just to hold that in place, but you'll see more on that later. I also got a clutch for it, which this came out of I think an L8 transmission that blew up, so it's not really good shape, so I'll be putting that in there to hold this in place. But like I said, you'll see more of that when it gets to there. I also got the 2 brackets for the Swift-O-Matics on the 400 series transmissions, and these are going to be going back on because they're fairly easy to hook up. I can just use a rod or a cable or something and shift, so I'm not going to make my own brackets for those, along with the spring, which I have to get another one. And for the dog gears and the shipper shafts, on the front transmission I'm going to have the original 400 series shifter, so that way I can shut on and off the back transmission, so I can take it in and out of gear as I'd like, and that'll be easy enough. You can hook up a rod to it. And the back transmission will be like the L 4-wheel drive, how I'll just have the old style shipper shaft and a little clip bent around it to hold it in gear constantly. And I also have a couple of dog gears too that I was able to find that are in fairly good shape. But anyways, I'm going to start with getting the dog gears in, and we'll see if we can get some of these shipper shafts cleaned up and get these in also. Alright, well, I got one of the shipper shafts cleaned up here, so it's got a good end on it. As you can see, it's not all chewed off like this one is from years of use. So got that on there, got the shaft oil. I also cleaned up the ball and spring here, so I get those on, along with the lever. You just gotta line it up with the flat spot on the shipper shaft. Tighten this up.
Today's Country 102.5 with Cruiser, one of the artists that folks looking forward to seeing at our street party. Frankie Ballard is on the way. 2 songs away, as a matter of fact.
And that'll be pretty good because it's nice and tight when the ball goes into the D10, so keep it from moving and everything. Alright, works out pretty nice. Nice and smooth and everything. You can see down inside there, maybe. Everything's over camming nicely and snapping into place, so got this one all set. Now I can clean up everything and put the one in the front transmission. Well, the front shipper shaft and dog gear are all in there, and everything moves real nice and whatnot, all greased up. And the back one's all set, and I got the center joint put back together. So tomorrow I'll probably be cutting the welds to reline these 2 pieces up, and then hopefully I'll get the gussets done, and I'll see if I can finish welding this up for tomorrow. I also put the Swift-O-Matic shifters on, so both of those are all hooked up with the springs. I was able to find another one for the red one over here up on the hill. I also been putting together the engine, so got quite a bit done today. I'm gonna have to order some more sheet metal too, because I don't have any more 16 horse sheet metal, and the head shroud here and this side shroud, because you can see it doesn't line up, are both different sizes, so I'll have to go on eBay and see what I can find. But for the time being, it should be enough so I can run it, because I still haven't ran this since I did the rebuild. I got my wheel horse muffler on there, and I rigged up a fuel tank, coil. This is the carburetor I'm going to be using on the tractor, along with the fuel pump, so those will be staying on. Points don't have a cover, but I can still run them the way it is for now, just to break this in a little bit. I'll let it idle for a while. So anyways, we'll roll this out to the front of the garage, and we'll see if we can get it to fire up. Alright, I'm going to crank this over a few times without the ignition hooked up to get some fuel primed up to the carb. And then we'll hook up the ignition and see if it'll fire up. Hook up the ignition. Not too bad for a fresh start. Fired right up. So I'll probably let this idle for a little while like this, just to break in the rings and everything and see how it does. So far, no smoke, which is good. No knocks or anything, so might just get lucky. And once again, I don't have the high-low planetaries in here, so I don't have to worry about filling up the transmissions with oil. But there you have it. That's the first startup of the Gravely 4-wheel drive.